Imagine waking up one morning to find out that you've reached your retirement age, but instead of enjoying the fruits of your labor, you're struggling to make ends meet because you didn't plan ahead. This scenario is more common than you think, especially among those who start saving too late in life. I recall a story about a colleague who worked as an accountant for over 2 decades before realizing that he had been living paycheck to paycheck. He was barely scraping by and couldn't even afford to retire at the age of 60. It was a wake-up call for him, and he started making drastic changes to his financial situation. However, it doesn't have to be this way. By starting early and being consistent with your savings, you can set yourself up for a comfortable retirement. So, let's take a closer look at how you can save for your golden years while still young. One of the biggest misconceptions about retirement planning is that it's only for those who are nearing their 60s. However, the truth is that the earlier you start saving, the more time your money has to grow. In fact, compound interest can work in your favor if you start early enough. For instance, let's say you contribute $500 per month to a retirement account starting from age 25. By the time you're 65, assuming an average annual return of around 7%, you could end up with over $1 million. However, if you wait until age 40 to start saving, your final balance would be significantly lower, approximately $430,000. To put this into perspective, imagine that you're earning a decent income and living within your means. If you delay saving for retirement by just 15 years, you could end up with a shortfall of nearly $600,000 in your golden years. This is why it's essential to start planning early, even if it seems like a daunting task. Consider the example of John, who started saving for retirement at age 30. He contributed a modest amount each month and invested it wisely over time. By the time he retired at 65, he had accumulated a substantial nest egg that allowed him to travel and pursue his hobbies without worrying about money. This is just one example of how early planning can lead to a more comfortable retirement. Another real-world example is the story of Jane, who started saving for retirement in her late 20s. She began by contributing a small amount each month and gradually increased it over time. By the time she was 50, she had accumulated enough savings to support herself in retirement without having to rely on Social Security or other forms of income. Now, I know what you might be thinking, this is all well and good, but how do I actually get started? Well, the good news is that it's easier than ever to save for retirement. With the rise of digital banking and online financial tools, you can now automate your savings with just a few clicks. Let's say you set up automatic transfers from your checking account into your retirement account. This way, you'll ensure that you're saving a fixed amount regularly without having to think about it. You can also take advantage of employer matching contributions if your company offers this benefit. I remember speaking with a client who was hesitant to start saving for retirement because he thought it would be too complicated. However, once we set up automatic transfers from his paycheck into his 401, he barely noticed the difference in his daily life. It was just another line item on his monthly budget, and he didn't have to worry about it anymore. Secondly, make sure you're taking full advantage of tax-advantaged accounts such as 401 or IRA. These accounts offer significant tax benefits that can help your savings grow faster over time. For example, with a 401, you won't pay taxes on the contributions until you withdraw the funds in retirement. Let's say you're contributing $5,000 to a 401 each year. By not paying taxes on those contributions, you'll save around $1,500 in taxes annually. Over time, this can add up to tens of thousands of dollars that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Thirdly, consider investing in a mix of low-cost index funds and stocks to create a diversified portfolio. This will not only provide higher returns but also minimize risk. You can start by setting aside a small portion of your income each month and gradually increase it over time. I've seen many people get intimidated by the idea of investing in the stock market, especially if they're new to finance. However, with a little education and research, you'll realize that it's not as complex as you think. And remember, even small steps can add up over time. To illustrate this, let's say you're currently spending $1,000 per month on dining out. By cutting back on eating out by just 50%, you could save an extra $500 per month, which would add up to around $6,000 per year. Over the course of a decade, that's equivalent to over $60,000. This might seem like a minor adjustment, but trust me, it can make a significant difference in your long-term savings goals. And remember, every little bit counts when it comes to retirement planning. Another example is the story of Mark, who started saving for retirement by cutting back on unnecessary expenses such as cable TV and gym memberships. He redirected that money toward his retirement account and was able to save an extra $2,000 per year. By doing so, he increased his chances of achieving his long-term goals and enjoying a more comfortable retirement. Now, let's talk about the importance of regular reviews and adjustments. As your income or expenses change over time, you'll need to reassess your retirement plan to ensure it remains on track. This might involve adjusting your contribution amounts, investment portfolios, or even switching to a different type of account. For instance, if you're expecting a raise at work, you may want to consider increasing your retirement contributions to take advantage of the extra income. On the other hand, if you experience a downturn in the market, you may need to rebalance your portfolio to minimize losses and maximize returns. To get started with regular reviews and adjustments, try setting aside time each quarter or semester to review your progress. This will help you stay on track and make any necessary adjustments to ensure you're meeting your long-term goals. In addition to reviewing your plan regularly, it's also essential to consider consulting with a financial advisor who can provide personalized guidance and support. A good advisor can help you create a tailored plan that takes into account your unique needs, goals, and circumstances. If you're interested in learning more about personal finance or want to stay up to date with the latest tips and strategies, be sure to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications so you never miss a video. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video has provided you with valuable insights on how to save for retirement. Remember, it's never too early or too late to start planning for your golden years. Every small step you take today will bring you closer to achieving your long-term goals. As I was researching for this video, I came across an article about a couple who started saving for retirement at age 30. They set aside a modest amount each month and invested it wisely over time. By the time they retired at 65, they had accumulated a substantial nest egg that allowed them to travel and pursue their hobbies without worrying about money. This is just one example of how early planning can lead to a more comfortable retirement. And remember, every small step you take today will bring you closer to your long-term goals. To further illustrate the importance of starting early, let's consider an example. Imagine two individuals who start saving for retirement at different ages. Sarah starts saving at 25, while her friend Emily waits until age 40. Assuming they contribute the same amount each month and earn similar returns on their investments, Sarah would end up with a substantial lead in savings by the time she retires at 65. In fact, her nest egg could be around $200,000 more than Emily's, simply because she started saving 15 years earlier. This example highlights the power of compound interest when it comes to retirement planning. By starting early and being consistent with your savings, you can give yourself a significant advantage in terms of long-term wealth accumulation. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I'm not earning much money? Can I still save for retirement? The answer is yes. While it's true that higher income levels can make it easier to save, there are many ways to start building your retirement nest egg even on a modest budget. For instance, you could try reducing unnecessary expenses or cutting back on discretionary spending. This will free up more money in your budget for savings and investments. Alternatively, you could consider taking on a side hustle or freelancing work to increase your income. I've seen many people achieve their retirement goals by starting small and being consistent with their savings over time. It's not about having a high income, it's about making the most of what you have and being committed to your long-term goals. To make the process even easier, consider using online financial tools or mobile apps that can help you track your progress and stay on top of your savings. These resources often offer features such as budgeting, investment tracking, and retirement planning, all in one convenient place. In conclusion, saving for retirement is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires discipline, patience, and consistent effort over many years. However, with the right mindset and strategies in place, you can set yourself up for a comfortable retirement and enjoy your golden years without financial stress. Remember to start early, be consistent, and make adjustments as needed to stay on track. Don't be afraid to seek professional advice or consult with a financial advisor who can provide personalized guidance and support. Every small step you take today will bring you closer to achieving your long-term goals. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.